Yeah, the low.
It's that time.
Should have set the timer. Little things.
It's a nice little beach right there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
I was
is.
just thinking about how nice that would be.
You were already there, weren't you?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
Calling to order the Monday, January 26th, 2026 meeting of the 41st Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Black, Councilmember Elrod,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gavin, Councilmember Hennon,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. Our first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I make motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion made by Councilmember Baker
Second.
and seconded by Councilmember Hennon. Are there any changes or corrections? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Elrod,
Yes.
Hennon,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. I'd like to take the mayor-led moment of reflection this evening to just have a moment of silence for Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've now come to the public comment section for this evening for items that are not on tonight's agenda. When you come to the microphone, please state your name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind and in your heart.
Guess I'm the only one.
Okay.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Andrew McIndoe, and I am a resident here in Berkeley. I'm here tonight to respectfully urge the council to vote no on the proposed 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan in its current form. The Parks and Recreation Committee put out a citywide survey in which the top 3 things residents requested over the next few years from the Parks and Recreation Department are access to a pool, changes to the community center, and a dog park. While the 5-year plan is well written, it does not address any of these requests of the residents. It did not take any input from the residents on ideas on how to address these priorities. A 5-year plan is a massive commitment of taxpayer resources, and this specific proposal feels premature without addressing and producing any new ideas on how to address these requests of the residents from the survey. There is also no evidence of any assessments to ensure that any of the park space allocations are currently the best use of that space and aligned with resident priorities. It shows a lack of strategic thought and creativity to assume that everything must remain as it is. Voting no tonight isn't a vote against our parks, it's a vote for better planning. I asked the council to send this back to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for further refinement, utilizing the feedback of the residents. Let's get this right rather than just getting it done. Thank you, and Jessica misses you all.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close public comments. Ms. Mitchell, please read the items on tonight's consent agenda.
1, minutes of the regular city council meeting on Monday, January 5th, 2026. 2, warrant list number 1418. 3, design services proposal from Spalding to Decker for the library parking lot rehabilitation project. 4, resolution establishing the policy and guidelines for granting an exemption from payment of property taxes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Motion was made by Councilmember Hennan
Second.
and seconded by Councilmember Baker. Any changes or additions? Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Elrod,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. The consent agenda has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 1 on tonight's regular agenda.
Recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 2.
Presentation, 2025 Board and Commission Achievements.
Ms. Van Vleck.
Just a little intro before our Deputy City Clerk, Rachel Patterson, starts. But we have gone through a bit of some improvements and some changes to our boards and commissions process. So that means the appointment process and also just how the boards and commissions operate. The clerk's office has done a fantastic job this year pulling this together and working with the boards to do so. And with that, I will hand it over to Rachel, our Deputy City Clerk, because she's going to explain the rest of it and how we got here. But I just wanted to give a little intro to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as many of you know, I've had the very special pleasure of assisting the ad hoc committee in implementing changes and updates to our boards and commissions process. As part of those changes, I do have the special duty tonight of presenting the achievements and highlights of our advisory boards for 2025. As someone who has served on a city board for several years now myself and came to the city that way, I can personally attest to the fantastic work our advisory boards do in many different places within our community. As we saw earlier tonight, we had some great candidates for these boards, and we continue to be able to utilize everyone's efforts and energies in incredible ways, some of which I get to bring to you. We'll look at the collaborative efforts and specific achievements submitted by the board, but I don't want to take up too much of your time because, of course, there's a lot to brag about. So I will just be kind of highlighting a little bit of each slide, and there's always more to kind of dive into. So we'll start with the beautification committee. They cleaned up garden beds outside public safety, Friends Park, and the community center, as well as walked in the holiday lights parade and orchestrated a beautiful luminary display at Bacon Park. The Environmental Advisory Committee was very active at our community events, which everyone knows are very popular here in Berkley. Thank you. And they operated their extremely popular bike corral at several of these events, which promotes clean air in Berkley and the use of alternative transportation. They also organized several opportunities for residents to recycle and reduce waste by different community sharing events and recycling days. As you can see, there's quite a bit on the slides that I'm kind of skimming over. As for the historical committee, which is one that I'm very proud to serve on myself, we continue to attract visitors with an average of 11 per week to the museum, plus large numbers during events. And I can brag that many of these visitors were new, particularly visiting to purchase a new Santa ornament, which I'm very proud of. We had an absolutely immensely popular run of those. Couldn't keep them in stock for a little while. And it's brought quite a few new people to the museum as well. We provided informational historical displays, newsletters, answered resident questions and research requests, as well as being very active on social media, sharing the history of Berkley. The library board reviewed several of their codes and policies, as well as their bylaws, and they created opportunities for members to engage with local groups that provide support and professional development for their board members. The Parks and Rec Advisory Board was able to amplify their programming and accomplishments, as well as diligently working on that 5-year plan that you guys are seeing tonight, including multiple community engagement meetings. And then finally, the Tree Board planted 30 2024 DTE grant awarded trees in the spring of 2025, as well as 2 sweetgum trees at Oxford Park to celebrate Arbor Day. They also, you see this as a common theme, participated in several community events where they were able to draw great numbers and share a lot with people at the Touch a Truck, Berkley Monster Mash, and the Holiday Lights Parade. So, as you can see, we have a lot to be proud of here, but of course, our work is always continuing. So I do thank you for your time, and I look forward to coming back to you with the 2026 accomplishments soon.
Thank you so much, Ms. Patterson. I just want to take a moment to thank all the volunteers that make up our boards and commissions and the work that they do, because it wouldn't be able to happen if we didn't have a dedicated group of committed volunteers working to benefit the city of Berkeley. I also want to take a moment to thank Councilmember Baker, Mayor Pro Tem Gavin, and Councilmember Patterson for making up the ad hoc committee for the restructuring of boards and commissions. Oh gosh, and Ms. Mitchell and Ms. Patterson too, because I know that came out of the clerk's office, and I find it very refreshing. Everything's kind of come together. Processes and procedures are in place. We're learning as we go, right? We're rolling this out, and we'll, make corrections as we seem necessary, but overall, I'm very proud of the work that's been done and grateful to everyone who's been part of it. Any other comments from council?
I'll just adding on to exactly what you said. It's amazing the amount of work and hours and manpower that our boards and commissions volunteer their times and talents to make Berkeley a better place for all of us. Everyone knows I was on boards and commissions before. It's a lot more work sometimes than the public realizes. So, as you said, thank you to everyone. Thanks to the clerk's office as well for taking that on, and all that you guys do to make sure that they have what they need, and everyone else does too, because you guys are on the ball. So thank you, but it's great to have them.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the tremendous presentation and the time that it took the clerk's office to bring together the materials from the various chairs and to organize it for our celebration here tonight. This was as mentioned, this was the first time we've done this, although the committees have been in operation for years and years and years. I think many of us have been on committees before joining on council, and it's just fantastic to see a focused, organized way to raise visibility and awareness about what these committees do for the city, to congratulate and recognize the folks that are doing all that hard work. And then also this might inspire additional folks to want to join the committees to help us down the road as they see some of the cool things that are going on. So I celebrate both the achievements that were communicated here today and all the hard work of everyone, and also echo my colleagues' comments about complimenting the process that it took with city clerk's office and our city manager in making all this happen. So thanks. It's awesome.
I'll be brief.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing tonight will be long, I just want to encourage everybody to look at the available seats and become a participant in the city. I'll echo everything that Councilmember Patterson and Baker have stated. Tonight we did hold a special meeting, our first of its kind, to interview individuals who are interested in the boards. I think it went well. And I would encourage, again, everybody to seek out anything that you may be interested in. It's not something that is intimidating. It went really well tonight, and we welcome 4 new people onto our volunteer boards and commissions.
Councilmember Hennon.
Yeah, I'd encourage anyone that's interested to attend the meetings. They're open to the public. It's a good way to get to know if you want to be part of that board or commission, or I know with the tree board that I'm liaison, we're pretty casual. We'll talk to you and work with you even if you're not on the board. So come by the meetings if you have ideas or want to learn more about it. You're welcome to come.
Thank you. We good? Okay. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 4 on tonight's agenda.
Presentation 2025 Strategic Framework Annual Report.
Good evening. I'm excited to come forward with this tonight, and I just love that we were able to do the boards and commissions followed by this one, because they just fit together so well. If you can believe it, 1 year ago, City Council approved the City of Berkeley Strategic Framework. And so this identifies the priorities for us as a city for the following 2 years at the time, so 2025, 2026. This past year, we've provided quarterly reports on the progress that we've been making. This is the last report for calendar year 2025, And instead of just being the fourth quarter, it's an annual report. So it's definitely highlighting the things that were done in that last quarter, but it's also going back past the last year and just looking at everything that we've accomplished. The report that's a part of the packet goes into much greater depth. For purposes of time and people's attention spans, including my own, we're going to do some highlights tonight on that. I'll just go over, at the time that council came together and developed those priorities, there was also a mission statement, a vision statement, and our values. And 5 key priority areas were identified. And so I'll be going through each of those priority areas and talking about the objectives that were passed in each of those, and the tasks, the activities that we've been doing along the way throughout the year to achieve these. You will notice that I am going to start at priority 5. So I'm walking through these priorities in the opposite order that they're listed. Typically, we would start them with 1. I decided this time I wanted to finish with organizational effectiveness because I just think it all culminates to organizational effectiveness. It is only one of our priorities, but really just the way that it flows, I think it all kind of culminates that way. So priority area number 5, fiscal stewardship. A couple of the objectives underneath that clearly define and articulate the city's long-term fiscal realities. So in May of 2025, City Council approved a 3-year budget, which takes us through 27-28, and it includes a 6-year capital improvement plan forecast for the city. The budget document at that time was transformed into, I think, a more user-friendly document that helps tell the stories, the city's story, our budget story, and you'll see that we're going to continue to expand that document as we go. We're already in the works for this year, and I just have to give, anytime I talk about the budget document, I want to make sure we give credit where credit was due, and our communications director, Caitlin Flora, and our finance department just did an excellent job of producing that, and I think we'll just continue to see it expand from there. Another objective is to identify additional funding strategies and partnerships. The city clerk's office, actually I want to back up a little bit. You're going to see some check marks in here. So some of the tasks that we have identified have been completed. There are also some tasks that we've identified that are really just ongoing in nature, so we're always going to be working toward them. And then there are some that are just kind of in the process, but when you see a check mark, it's because we identified a task that we've 100% completed, not 75%, we've done it. And so one of those is a comprehensive audit of the fee schedule. The city clerk's office worked really hard on creating a new format, and that is something that we address during each budget period to look at our fees again, take a look at it, make sure that they are updated accordingly. While our efforts have not been successful each time, staff have worked very hard at identifying grant opportunities and different funding opportunities this year. Each are outlined in the report, but I am happy to say that we received $385,000 in federal funding for our fire engine. We've also received recommendation from Congresswoman Haley Stevens for $1 million in the upcoming federal budget for our lead service line replacement project, which, while that is a small, unfortunately $1 million is kind of a small part of the larger project, but everything obviously helps, and so we are grateful for that. The Parks and Recreation, with the help of the communications director, completed a sponsorship guide for 2026 events. You can see that on the slide. The goal is to engage more businesses and encourage sponsorships for the city. And then updating our financial policies and procedures. The finance department has worked with our tax payment vendor to allow residents to pay via ACH and make partial payments. They have made large strides in updating our internal financial policies and procedures. And BS&A, this says will be on site. They have already been on site now, implementing streamlined accounts payable processes, along with a couple of other enhancements we're making with our BS&A software. Priority 4, open communications. One of the objectives is to identify community audiences and most effective city voices. The communications director released a community survey this summer seeking feedback on communication preferences. This provided us with some insightful, helpful insight into how the best ways to engage our residents and what they're looking for in our communications. In addition to that, the clerk's office worked with the communications director on an elections communication plan. And this will help instill knowledge, or has and helped instill knowledge and confidence in the election process. And I think importantly, this information was shared during the election worker training program, and then it provides them with all of the important information that hopefully they are also kind of spreading awareness of to their peers. The clerk's office also organized a city council candidate forum with the League of Women Voters. Another objective under that priority is to identify and implement priority communication strategies within human and financial resources. In a collaboration between the communications director, the library, and Parks and Recreation, we are now providing an updated program guide. We do this via a postcard sent to all households, and that has a direct link and a QR code that people can look at the guide digitally. This has actually been very well received. We piloted it this year to see how it would land, and it seems to be landing really well. We were able to receive some feedback on that with that communication survey as well. And also based on feedback from the communication survey, our communications director launched a bi-weekly e-newsletter, and so that's to update people on important and timely information. If you're not receiving that now, I highly recommend you go onto our website and sign up for it. And Parks and Recreation produces the Berkley Times, which is a resource specifically dedicated to information regarding our senior programming. And then obviously, our city website this year. So the communications director spearheaded the launch of the updated city website. She spent the year working with the website company and with our IT department to work out all the kinks and the bugs to make it more user-friendly based on feedback from residents, staff, and council members. There are a lot of things under open meeting. But they're all very important. Identify and implement priority communication strategies within human and financial resources. The communications director has sent 11 press releases to the media for many of the events and initiatives this year. She also coordinated media coverage for several different things, including Cruise Fest and also the retirement of our canine bear and PSO Anderson. She's worked diligently to provide community members with robust information, including important updates, council meeting recaps, election information, important public services information, engagement opportunities, and city-hosted events and programs. Through social media, through email, and through specialized mailers. This last objective is to foster meaningful community engagement and genuine relationships. It's so important that there are going to be a couple slides dedicated just to this objective, because I really wanted to highlight just the different things that our departments have been doing this year and the impact that they have. The Dorothea Pilot Pocket Park planning was led in large part by a volunteer group of residents and business owners who met numerous times to plan its implementation. It was launched in June with various events. The events were very well attended, and the park itself was well attended passively as well, which we found out through a communication survey that was released during its opening, and it was also open for feedback afterward. And then if you guys remember, hopefully all of you do, our communications director gave a presentation on the feedback that we received. Survey results showed that many people utilized it passively. They would love to see it permanently converted into a public space. And then the feedback from the month of June actually really helped inform our activation for Berkley as well. So it was closed for another month during that time. Volunteers for the 24-25 fiscal year were recognized by the City Council at the annual Berkley Board and Commission Appreciation Luncheon. Jack Blanchard and Lisa Kempner were both honored for their service to the city. So there's a picture. You can't tell that's Jack in there, but that's Jack and the mayor hugging at that appreciation luncheon. And the Department of Public Works and Public Safety held their annual Touch-a-Truck event at the community center. This is a beloved event that just brings in so many people. It's also an opportunity for us to engage with the public. If there's any information that we want to provide, which we did, so we try to utilize that. And with that, we're going to continue. Our Parks and Recreation Department is going to be highlighted largely in this slide. So with the help of Johnson Hill Land Ethics Studio and spearheaded by our Parks and Recreation Superintendent here tonight with us, we hosted 2 stakeholder meetings and a public hearing as part of an update of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. There was also a survey that was released, and there were also, we had some other public engagement opportunities that were sprinkled in there at Dorothea Pocket Park, things like that. And the Parks and Recreation Department has spent the year building on our existing program. So I'm just really proud of them for all the work that they've put in. They've had some new staff changes during that time period. And I think our superintendent is just doing a fantastic job in his efforts over there. They have been expanding. They're providing a variety of classes, camps, trips, programs for all ages, within the confines, by the way, of our community center space, because we are pretty tight and restricted on what we can provide, largely because of our spatial needs. So the year in numbers, we had 68 youth classes and trips, which with 566 attendees, 70 adult classes and trips with 579 attendees, 20 specialty camps with 203. I want to highlight our summer camp, which I think is coveted in the community. It fills up incredibly fast. Just a couple of, I think, what showcases the summer camp is our last day. I think this is probably their favorite part, if I had to guess, with public safety. And then also what was really neat this year is the Dorothea Pilot Pocket Park, the interaction that they had with that. So the campers actually painted most of the street, and they really contributed to the vibrancy of that public space. Unfortunately, the weather did not want to cooperate with us because they were out there trying to get out there 2 days in a row, and between rain and heat, it was just, it was against us. But they were still out there participating. They had a great time, I think. They said they had a great time. And then our senior programs. So our new senior programmer, I think, has just done a fantastic job listening to the seniors and what they would like to see in their programs and doing what she can to expand on that. 12 senior classes with 300 attendees and 61 senior trips with over 1,000 attendees. That's amazing, especially in a city the size of us. A couple of highlights in the presentation itself is a senior trip to Meadowbrook. This is just one of many trips that we take the seniors on. I say we, but I have not. I should probably join one of these because they look fun. One of our new programs is the Senior Hangout. So you can kind of see that in the middle picture. It's designed for seniors to come together, enjoy each other's company, kind of passively do puzzles, watch TV, have casual conversation. You can see sometimes there are crafts and things for them to do. Also our mystery trips, which I think is really neat because you have no idea where they're going to take you. You just sign up. And this one, they went to Eastern Market, Belle Isle Conservatory, and a couple other places in Detroit. And then our senior summer picnic, and you can just see how well attended that is. So I just think these programs do so much to add to what Berkley has to offer the community. And we can't leave the library out when it comes to fostering meaningful community engagement. The library continues to be a vital community asset that provides shared resources, inclusive spaces, and opportunities for engagement with and between community members. Programs continue to evolve and expand, and circulation has stayed strong, and library visits and the use of library resources remains high. So another in the numbers, 222 total programs, which with over 6,000 attendees over the year. 134 youth programs, 32 teen programs, 56 adult programs. Some of those are highlighted here. One thing I want to comment on is when the Parks and Recreation and Library team up to do some cool things. So one of those was with the Dorothea Pocket Park. They teamed up to provide story time and play at the Dorothea Pocket Park. I think everyone knows about Burkbuster now. That was just such an incredible addition to the library, and just the creativity that comes out of our library staff is amazing. Messy play program, things that you might not think are at the library. So if you're unsure about what we're offering, go back to that program guide, and you'll be able to see. Our summer reading program is such a hit. Our seed library. Reading to a dog, there are so many things. What you don't see here is that we had 222,000 items borrowed, which is just, I think, an incredible. This is really focusing on engagement in the programs, but I think it's worth stating that. And almost 48,000 digital downloads. Okay, moving on to a less intriguing area. Priority 3 are community assets, but important. One of our objectives is to complete a comprehensive asset needs inventory and management plan. So led by our facilities manager, an assessment of all municipal buildings was completed in the first quarter of this year. It provides an analysis of our long-term maintenance needs and the life cycles of all of our facilities, and it will guide us in a proactive approach to strategically investing in our assets over the years. Also led by our facilities, so check mark on that one. Also led by our facilities manager was a space utilization study of City Hall that was just recently completed. That gives us a better understanding of what our spatial needs are here now and in the future. The Parks and Recreation Superintendent led the process with the assistance of Johnson Hill Land Ethics Studio to update the city's 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan, which I believe you all know since it's on the agenda tonight. The plan will guide the expansion and development of the city's Parks and Recreation program, so that should have a check by it too, actually. The city was awarded a grant to fund lead service line verifications, and a contract has been approved by City Council. Field work starts in the 4th quarter. Just a little bit on that for anyone who's wondering what it is. There are lead service lines that we believe could be lead service lines, but they have to be verified, and there's an expense to that as well. So our staff did a great job of applying for and receiving a grant to help us do that. And then the city contracted with CBRE to acquire an appraisal of City Hall and associated properties. So again, just another step in helping us understand our assets now to help us strategically plan for the future. Also in community assets, one of our objectives is to develop a sustainable asset investment strategy that supports funding for the city's capital improvement plan. The Finance Department implemented an overhaul of the city's CIP plan process, capital improvement plan process, to ensure a thorough, well-thought-out, long-term plan to address our capital needs. So that's another check mark on in our tasks. In addition to that, the Public Improvement Fund was created to strategically invest in and fund the city's capital needs. Another objective is to improve community resiliency. The Community Development Department completed the engineering design standards, which includes a comprehensive guide to developing and redeveloping property within the city. It focuses on non-residential and large-scale residential projects, including current and future standards from Oakland County, MDOT, and other regulatory agencies. With the transition to our new engineering firm, these standards are being reviewed. There's a check mark here because we did it with our old engineering firm, but now bringing a new engineering firm in, they may have some suggested changes, so you may see that in the future. But really, this is a guide to help people understand everything that they need to know for residential development. And improving facility staff security and safety. A full scope of the camera and access security upgrades that were budgeted for this year have been solidified, and they'll be in front of council in the next month or so. And the city clerk worked with the school district to ensure safety and compliance at all precincts and has created a comprehensive election security plan with the assistance of our emergency manager, Jack Blanchard. And City Clerk Mitchell, we're one of the only communities that have such a plan,
We were
correct?
research,
Yes,
yep.
so we're doing pretty good. So kudos to our city clerk and to Jack, obviously to Jack. Priority 2, economic sustainability. One of our objectives is to identify, prioritize, and deploy economic development tools. So we've done a couple of things in this arena. The community development director and I introduced the pilot workforce housing ordinance to council, which was ultimately adopted. After the release of an RFP, a consultant, Better City, which was just, we just approved that contract, for an economic development strategy. We have been meeting, the community development director, myself, and the DDA director are meeting with them on a bi-weekly basis. And this plan will really help us to guide our economic development strategy and understand what that should and can look like over the next however many years. So it's really, I think, for us, the next big step in really developing an economic development, really honing in on an economic development function. And the community development director and I met with MEDC for project-specific questions and to identify tools available for current and potential development projects in the city. Another objective is to implement master plan updates and development process improvements. So check mark to the rewrite of the city zoning ordinance. That was implemented this year. The team did such a great job that this is the picture down here, the city was awarded with the Michigan Association of Planning Award for Outstanding Public Engagement. And community development has created a webpage on our website to connect homeowners to Oakland County home improvement resources and resources on universal design and energy efficient opportunities. further on economic sustainability is to improve city and DDA strategic alignment. In collaboration with the DDA, the Dorothea Pocket Park was activated for the Berkley season, with many of the DDA's Halloween events taking place there, as well as Parks and Recreation program, which unfortunately was canceled due to the weather, as it does not like to cooperate, and a community picnic, which was spearheaded by our communications director. And organizational effectiveness. So again, I think it kind of all culminates down into this. Fostering a stronger relationships with community and regional partners. So we've done quite a few things. Throughout the year, staff has been engaged in many opportunities to build relationships and partnerships with our neighbors and our regional organizations. I've highlighted a few, but again, for time's sake, we don't need to read through all of them. In addition to that, another objective or another task is to expand engagement with Main Street Oakland County. Our DDA director started in August, and he has a strong relationship with Main Street Oakland County. He's attended several Michigan Downtown Association workshops, all the Main Street Oakland County manager meetings, and the Main Street Oakland County main event. Another objective is to cultivate a strong organizational culture. The Human Resources Director has created and implemented a robust performance evaluation process and provided a thorough training to all of our supervisors so that they understand the most effective ways to give those evaluations. So check mark there. Identifying and expanding professional development opportunities for staff and staff engagement events. These are both good examples of tasks that will never fully be completed because we should always be working toward this. As long as this is an objective of ours, we will always be working towards this as a task. We've had 3 staff trainings this year, and one with a focus on fostering a resilient growth mindset, one on emergency management, and one on FOIA. And we utilize these in-service days all for the training and also for team building. It's a time for staff to spend together, build relationships. It's just we try to get it all in one day. Also under organizational effectiveness is optimize organization, structure, staffing, policies, procedures, and levels of service. So we have consolidated our finance functions. We've consolidated parks and recreation, facilities, and public works, so we can check mark all of those. Identifying and documenting SOPs, building more cross-department collaborations. We've been actively encouraging this. And there's been a couple of things that we've done, and I won't list them all out here, but they are in the report. Our build out of human resources, I think human resources has seen a transformational year, and all under the leadership of our HR director. She has set the foundation for a strong human resources function in the city, focusing on the most important structural pieces first, including successfully engineering a comprehensive recruitment and onboarding infrastructure and completing an audit of personnel files to ensure all forms have been properly documented. We've effectively negotiated 3-year contracts with all the bargaining units whose contracts were expiring. We also extended the dispatch contract, bringing all of the city's bargaining units into the same timeline and allowing for a more efficient and equitable future negotiations. Soliciting an engineering RFP is something we can also check off of our list, and successfully transitioning to new providers for several key areas, including the city attorney, our engineering firm, our assessing firm, and our healthcare benefits administrator, was achieved through the release of RFPs and a thorough interview and onboarding process each time. These changes are already helping to significantly enhance the overall effectiveness and efficiency of the organization. And as we just saw, the clerk's office spearheaded the transformation of the boards and commissions appointment process and the handbook. The first phase has been completed, and now they're gearing up with the ad hoc committee. We did all of this through an ad hoc committee as well. We're now gearing up for phase 2 of that, so it's not over yet. Okay, and also under organizational effectiveness, our administrative team, led by our clerk's office, has processed 158 general FOIA requests this year. It's important to clarify that this number excludes the high volume of public safety requests that we process annually. While public safety requests are numerous, they are sometimes routine, not always, and processed often exclusively by our public safety department, and these are differentiated from our general requests. 158 is on par for last year, but notably the city saw a large increase in general FOIA requests in the past few years. So if you look at 2021 and 2022, and they were in the 80s, and then we had an increase of 61.9% in 2023. We had another increase of 14.7%, and then a little over 1% increase this past year. So we're seeing a consistent increase in those. The 158 requests translated into roughly 52 hours of staff time. And I want to highlight that this is definitely a conservative estimate. When we do them in 15-minute increment, we time these in 15-minute increments. So we haven't been tracking how long we take if it's underneath. Each staff person gets 15 minutes before the clock really starts ticking. So this is definitely the floor of the time spent. So 52 hours of staff time. When a request is denied, the requester has the right to appeal the denial. Appeals must be reviewed and decided by the city manager. This year we had 10 FOIA appeals, all from the same individual. A conservative estimate of the time spent on these appeals is 12 hours. The Freedom of Information Act is a fundamental right that upholds accountability and trust, and I think we all agree that an informed public is the cornerstone of good government. That said, I think in the context of tonight's presentation, everything that we've accomplished this year in highlighting our progress, it's good to provide some insight into the operational impacts that the cumulative effect of these requests and appeals can have. The infographic on the right breaks down the hidden side of processing the general FOIA requests that the city receives. As you can see, interdepartmental coordination, email server and document searches are always part of this. City manager appeals process if an appeal is made, and then legal compliance reviews often. Broken down by requester is this chart. So as you can see, I'll kind of explain it. 57 requests 57 people submitted one request. Then you have 13 people who submitted 2 requests. You have 3 people who submitted 3 requests, 2 people who submitted 5, and then you get up to, there was one person that we had submit 12, one with 18, and then one individual who submitted 20 requests and also all 10 of those appeals. Transparency is absolutely for everybody. But currently, as you can see, the majority of our general FOIA workload is driven by a very small number of individuals. When an individual, we have a responsibility to ensure that the city's limited administrative resources are serving the entire community. When you have a few individuals monopolizing such a chunk of administrative resources, the opportunity cost is paid for the entire community as it slows down daily operations and can delay the accomplishments of all the goals that we talked about tonight. I'm incredibly proud of our team for accomplishing so many of our key objectives this year, even while enduring the strain that these requests and other little things that pop up throughout the day and these appeals can have on our most finite resource, which is time. I want to end it by saying thank you. I'll take a breath. I want to end it by saying thank you. As I worked on this report and this presentation, I kept thinking, I kept thinking of the man in the arena. It's a speech that Theodore Roosevelt gave, I believe, in France in 1910. There's an excerpt of it that's kind of popular. I've seen it on posters. I've seen it around quite a bit. I recommend that you read it, the larger speech itself. It has a poignant message behind it. I'm going to just take out the excerpt that is most popular, but I would highly recommend that you read all of it. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I think this excerpt is especially relevant and poignant when highlighting the achievements of all of our employees here. I have spent a year with a group of hardworking, passionate, and extraordinary individuals whose days are often met with challenges that they do not foresee. I applaud them, and I am grateful to them for the work that we have done this year and for everything that we've been able to accomplish. So thank you to staff and to all of you.
Well, thank you very much. And it's, under the purview of your leadership that all of these things got accomplished. I mean, you you have solid directors, we have solid, dedicated city employees. And when you bring all that together, that's when great things happen. So as much as we all are appreciative of all the work that the city has done, I want to just personally thank you for, leading that charge and being organized and knowing what needs to get done and when it needs to get done and having the ability to pull people together, which is no small feat. So thank you. Any other Councilmember Hennan?
Yeah, I just want to thank you and the staff. You spent about 30 minutes just sharing, and that was just the highlights.
Right.
Like that iceberg, there is a lot more that was in the report, and then even a lot that isn't in the report that has to be done to be able to just make all the things happen in the city to operate. And we're all immensely grateful and appreciative of all the work and unappreciated sometimes, but all the work that you guys do.
Councilmember.
Similar to them, obviously. It's amazing what you and your staff do. We are a small town of Berkeley. That's no stranger. Everyone knows that. But the amount of passion that every employee has, no matter which level, has for our city, and it's a direct reflection of you because you demand that. And it's amazing to see you empower our staff to do their best, and they only can do it because you allow them. So thank you.
Councilmember.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What a tour de force, right? I mean, between this and the prior one, it's amazing to think of all the things that go into the city operations and the dedication and commitment that goes into making those things go so well. So kudos. Thank you.
We good? Thank you.
Yeah, just echoing the thank you to staff. It was a transitional year.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
So
in so
it's
many ways.
So staff has had a long 2 years. So
It is odd to hear year.
I know,
It
I
seems
know.
like it's been 10, but.
Okay, Ms. Mitchell, now please read item number 4. I was a little out of order there.
Resolution adopting the updated 5-year recreation master plan for the period of 2026 through 2030 as a guideline for improving recreation for the residents of the city of Berkeley.
Ms. Van Black.
Excuse me. I am going to invite our recreation superintendent, Dan McMinn, up. So this is just kind of the culmination of the process for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So this is just kind of the last formally adopting it after the public hearing and et cetera, which took place on January 15th, right?
Correct.
Which you may be talking about. So I
Yes.
apologize.
Good evening, everybody. Stand here nearing the finish line with the adoption tonight of the plan. We are reaching the final piece for submission, which is due February 1st. Since this process started in August, we've had an online survey. We've hosted 2 public meetings. We've done 2 stakeholder meetings. There was a draft plan. Then we had a 30-day review and a comment period. We held a public hearing on the 15th of January, an adoption resolution from the Recreation Advisory Board, and then tonight's final adoption for the plan. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Tyler Sprague from Johnson Hill Land Ethics Studio and his team for leading us through this process. It's been a pleasure to work with him, and I thank him for all of his support and guidance. Sarah Steenberg as well was part of that. So as far as next steps after the adoption, this is going to give us the ability to apply for grants to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. It provides us the ability to know what the residents are looking for and want to see in the future. And it's just a roadmap of the future. One of the best parts about this plan, I think, is every single thing that people have commented on, it gives the opportunity for us to explore that in the future. We're not turning anything down right away. We are looking to see if there's space, if there's money, if there's funding, what we can do to bring these things that people want to the city of Berkeley. And I appreciate all the residents' comments, all the attendance at the public meetings, and this plan isn't possible without them. So with that being said, Tyler, do you have anything to say?
So here I come.
I can't help it but say something. I do just want to thank all of the city staff, council, the Parks Recreation Advisory Board. It's been a pleasure to work with everybody. I think the plan turned out great, and I hope everybody is in agreement there, and I wish you the best with accomplishing some of those tasks on the plan. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the resolution adopting the updated 5-year recreation master plan for the period 2026 to 2030 as a guideline for improving recreation for the residents of the city of Berkley.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Hennan and seconded by Councilmember Patterson. Questions or comments from council? Councilmember Hennan.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that, there is a lot of touch points in here for, we have an overview of what the community wants, but there's more touch points to reach out and start to dive into more of the details, more than just, hey, we'd like this. Okay, now where are we going to put it? Like you said, what's it going to cost? How do we continue to maintain it? So all of those are important parts of the exercise, and all of that is in here in that action program. So I think we've done a very good job. I was very happy to see that it's a plan that it isn't just a, here's some ideas, but that here are some specific goals that we can go down the list and check off and, work towards. And so that's makes it more of a living document than one that often just gets put on the shelf and we don't do anything with. So I really like that about this.
Thank you.
I do. Sorry.
Councilmember.
I said no first, and then
That's
I should have
okay.
said over on that
You
side,
can
I
change your
guess.
mind.
I do want to thank Tyler and Sarah for the work that you guys did for us. It was, I was fortunate enough to go to the open houses. There was residents there who were able to speak. It was obviously the online survey had a big draw, as well as the public hearing. And it was just nice to see the way you guys conducted the meeting and to have the residents support that. The Parks and Rec Advisory Board also, they looked at this at their last meeting, and obviously they recommended us to approve it. And they were also happy with the outreach, so thank you for that, and thank you, Dan, as always, and JD, because you're here. I'll thank you too, why not?
Thank you. Any public comment on this agenda item?
Thank you, Mayor. Joshua Hunter, Berkeley. So I reviewed the recreation master plan. I know kind of like the big nucleus of it is concerning the community center. I just hope, because in the past 17 years there's been 2 or 3 recreation related proposals. In 2009 there was a community center update. I think that included a pool, and then there was another operating millage to support that, and that was voted down. And in 2017, that was voted down for the community center, and it looks like another community center is being proposed, but it's not understood what the community appetite is for the actual funding of this through a millage. Maybe there's other funding sources that are available, but I just hope we're not putting the cart before the horse. I don't know if it's detrimental to approve this tonight, but I just don't want to see that. I think we should really understand what the community's appetite is for to actually fund this through a millage or a bond, whatever that may be, to make these plans come to fruition. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments and questions from
All right.
council?
Ross is back at next meeting.
We good? Okay. Thank you, Mr. McMahon, very much for all your work on this, and the rec board, and Johnson Hill. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on the motion to approve.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the resolution has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 5 on tonight's regular agenda.
Ethics Complaint Advisory Opinion.
Ms. Van Vleck.
Good evening again. Okay, on October 25th, 2025, City Council received a complaint from resident Josh Hunter regarding the perception of an improper disclosure of a conflict of interest during the contract solicitation and engagement of the city's current city attorney. I conducted a review of the matter and determined that no ethics violation occurred. After receiving that response on November 3rd, 2025, the city received a formal ethics complaint seeking an advisory opinion pursuant to Section 2-40 of the City Code from the same resident. Per City Code, the city manager shall perform such investigations as they deem necessary and provide an advisory opinion to City Council. The advisory opinion shall be published in permanent form and communicated to the City Council and the public subject to the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. In the past, it's been the practice of the city manager to consult with legal counsel prior to providing an advisory opinion, essentially when you're interpreting a statute and understanding how things affect that statute, common practice. Given that the complaint involved the city attorney, and in an effort to maintain public trust, I recommended that City Council retain outside independent legal counsel to assist in the review of the complaint and the city manager's original findings to that email. On December 1st, 2025, City Council approved the retention of Angela Manarino with Greco Law PLLC. On December 18th, Mr. Hunter submitted a supplemental ethics complaint to his original November 3rd, 2025 complaint. Ms. Manarino was provided with the following documents: Mr. Hunter's original complaint to City Council via email, the city manager's original response to Mr. Hunter's complaint via email, Mr. Hunter's formal ethics complaint seeking an advisory opinion, Mr. Hunter's supplemental complaint, the special meeting minutes from September 15th, 2025, the meeting agenda packet and meeting minutes from September 29th, 2025, the City of Berkley proposal, which was submitted by RSJA, Rosati, Schultz, Jopik, and Ambuchler, the ethics advisory opinion regarding legal services engagement, and the signed retainer agreement. Ms. Manarino provided City Council with her legal opinion regarding both Mr. Hunter's complaint and his supplemental complaint. Each opinion letter is considered an attorney-client privileged communication. At the regular meeting on July 5th, 2026, Council voted to waive attorney-client privilege only as to the communications dated December 10th, 2025, and supplemental communication dated December 29th, 2025, from Special Counsel Angela Manarino regarding the subject ethics complaint. The requested waiver is for the limited purpose of allowing the correspondence and supplemental correspondence to serve as the formal advisory opinion required by City Code, which requires that advisory opinions be communicated to City Council and to the public. As such, each of Ms. Manarino's findings are included in the packet and are intended to serve as the formal advisory opinion required by City Code. In summary, and similar to my original findings, Ms. Manarino found absolutely no violation of state law or city ordinance. That opinion was held firmly in Ms. Manarino's review of Mr. Hunter's supplemental complaint as well. The cost to review this ethics complaint was $841.50. Tonight, it's my recommendation that City Council accept this memo and Ms. Manarino's correspondence attached hereto as the formal advisory opinion as required by City Code Ordinance Section 2-40F1.
Is there a motion?
I move to accept the memo and Ms. Manarino's correspondence attached hereto as the formal advisory opinion as requested by City Code Ordinance Section 2-40F1.
Motion to accept was made by Councilmember Patterson.
Second.
And seconded by Councilmember Elrod. Questions, comments from council? Public comment on this agenda item.
Joshua Hunter, Berkley. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to point out a few facts about the complaint. It was not dismissed as having no merit. None of the facts I presented were disputed. The city has not published it for residents, and none of the allegations were addressed. My complaint raised 6 issues regarding the city attorney's conduct while serving on the Planning Commission and pursuing the contract. They were failure to meet disclosure preconditions under the 25-hour rule, conflicts not disclosed in RSJA's RFP response, no public disclosure to the Planning Commission, non-compliant council minutes, misleading reliance on post-resignation timing, and non-disclosure of shareholder status and pecuniary interests. And when it became clear the city attorney was involved in handling her own complaint, I filed a supplemental complaint under Section 2-40E1F. The city manager and city attorney had already prepared an advisory opinion on November 10th, but it was never filed with council as required under the ordinance. So, but instead, the city manager hired Greco Law to defend a different timeline. Greco's opinion and timeline rests on one premise, that Ms. Hamame was a former commissioner when she pursued the contract. That is factually incorrect. The conduct occurred while she was still serving, and the opinion never identifies a resignation date. It also repeatedly relies on a September 25th meeting that never occurred. The contract was approved on September 29th. I'm not here, though, to debate the legal reasoning or why Greco's facts are incorrect. I'm here to highlight the following precedents council sets if it accepts its opinion without action, which I sent to you all over the weekend. A city council may privately solicit and negotiate a city contract without public disclosure. A firm does not need to disclose ownership interests in its RFP response as a conflict of interest. A firm does not need to disclose as a conflict of interest that one of its principals is a sitting city official. Residents and competing firms do not need to be informed if a city official is privately pursuing a contract. A planning commissioner may privately pursue a paid contract without disclosing it on the record. A paid city official may participate in and defend themselves during an inquiry into their own conflict at taxpayer expense. A city official who is the subject of a complaint may participate directly in the city's handling of that complaint. An advisory opinion does not need to address the allegations in the complaint. Finally, the council minutes do not need to disclose known financial interests of contract awards. So, Mayor, is this the standard of conduct you expect from city officials or firms seeking city contracts? Is it appropriate for council to avoid publicly disclosing in the minutes and deliberating on known conflicts before awarding a contract? If not, action is required after the advisory opinion is received under Section 2-40F2. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Oh, almost.
Well, there we go. Sorry.
Any additional questions or comments from council? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll to accept the agenda item.
Patterson?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Elrod?
Yes.
Hennan?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes, the agenda item has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 6 on tonight's regular agenda.
Request City Council to deem it unnecessary for the Administrative Office of City Attorney to take the city's oath of office.
Ms. Van Black.
Hello. Okay, so a little background here. City Charter, Section 8.2 reads, all administrative officers and appointees, and this emphasis included, as the City Council shall deem necessary, shall take an oath of office supporting the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and faithfully discharging the duties of such office before entering upon the duties of the respective offices, and file the same with the city clerk. All attorneys practicing in the state of Michigan are required to take an oath of office prior to being admitted to practice law, which oath satisfies the requirements of the city charter. In the packet, I won't read it, but I put the lawyer's oath. The lawyer's oath, by the way, which on the State Bar Association website is called lawyer's oath, just to be clear. I've put that in there, but I won't read it all here. The city has retained RSGA to serve as city attorney. Although Ms. Hamame serves as the lead attorney, there are other attorneys at RSJA who serve the city in the capacity of the administrative office of city attorney. The way that our contract is Lisa Hamame is our main attorney. I think at one point, very likely when the charter was written, the city would employ an attorney. Times have changed quite a bit now. It's pretty common practice for a community, especially of our size, to retain a firm to do that. And so when you retain a firm, all of them are our city attorney, essentially. If Lisa cannot make it, others will sit down in her place. Others may be here for other meetings, or we may go to them for internal issues. It's not always Ms. Hamame. Each of those attorneys has taken the lawyer's oath of office. However, since the charter language is not clear that the lawyer's oath is sufficient, and since it is not clear whether City Council has previously deemed it unnecessary, to clear it all up, to make sure that it's just very clear, I'm recommending that City Council formally deem it unnecessary for the City Attorney now and in the future to take the city's oath of office, as it is redundant and unnecessary. It is my recommendation that City Council formally deem it unnecessary for the administrative office of City Attorney to take the city's oath of office.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move to deem it unnecessary for the administrative office of the attorney to take the city's oath of office.
Councilmember Hennon made the motion to deem this unnecessary. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Patterson.
Sorry.
All right.
Nope.
Questions or discussion from council?
I have a couple things. I was torn with this because I think we should take an oath, right? We take an oath. We make our volunteers who are on our boards and commission take an oath. We all do that. Our attorneys have an oath. They take one that's supported through the state bar. When I looked at the ordinance or the charter, I also look at section 8.8, which shows the city attorney is a legal service. So if we think of them as a legal service, not as a public officer, it kind of changes it a little bit in my mind. And feel free to tell me I'm making this up. But the other thing is there's more than just one attorney in this firm, correct? I mean, example tonight. So every attorney in that firm, plus every other attorney that we ever use, would have to sign that oath if we use the same thing. It says we may deem it unnecessary. I don't feel like it's a necessary thing for this attorney company, if you will, right? The attorney group. If it was a single attorney, I would probably vote differently and think that you would need to do that. But with the however many attorneys we have, I don't think we're setting precedent that we're not wanting her or him, them, to serve at the highest level. And there's ramifications through their state bar if they don't. There's things that would apply differently to them than it would non-attorneys or non-people who have taken that oath. So I feel like as we contract the office of city attorney with our SJA, where multiple attorneys serve, it's not just one individual. I also think section 8.8G explicitly allows council to retain additional and special counsel as needed, reinforcing the position functions as a professional service, not just a sworn municipal post, which 8.2 is what we're talking about, but I feel like 8.8 is also in there. So bottom line, from what I found, not the bottom line, one other thing before my bottom line, page 2. The common governance practice, municipalities across Michigan commonly rely on the lawyer's oath as sufficient and controlling oath. I don't think that puts us out of line or in line with anyone. Most of the municipalities that I searched, I couldn't find one. I couldn't find one that specifically requires a city attorney group. Sorry, I'm sure there's a better name than group, but or firm. Yeah, that's it. Firm. Firm to allow that. So or require that. The lawyer's oath is sufficient and controlling oath for contractual legal counsel as well. And again, most cities do not require contracting law firms or municipal attorneys to take municipal oath because the professional oath already binds them to them. So my bottom line is all available evidence that I looked for from our charter structure, section 8.8 duties, legal practice norms, and the nature of the lawyer's oath supports the conclusion that requiring the city attorney to take an additional Berkley oath is unnecessary, redundant, and inconsistent with how the office is designed to function. We have another legal firm that we also work with that this would then also apply to. So I think it kind of goes with that. I think creating this or deeming it necessary would just cause undue burden for we just heard how our staff is stretched so thin already. There's 30 plus lawyers, I think, in this firm. I don't remember the exact number. And so all of them would have to come take an oath for something they've already done, and they're already at a standard, and they're contracted with us, right? I mean, they're not our employees directly, which is different than I think our volunteers. I mean, they don't get paid either, but they're serving us in a different capacity. So that's why I'll be voting. I don't find this is necessary.
Thank you.
deemed unnecessary.
Councilmember Hennan.
Yeah, I just want to amplify a couple of those points. I agree with everything that was said, but we hired a law firm. We didn't hire an individual, and businesses can't take oaths. I don't know how you get a business to take an oath. And then just, I think the fact that we're even discussing this shows the integrity behind it, because why bring this forward if she thought it was legally or morally necessary? She would just take the oath. So why bring us to the scrutiny? And it's just to make sure we've crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, and that we've fully done anything. But it would be absurd to bring this forward if she was trying to pull a fast one on it. She just wouldn't mention it to us. So.
Thank you. Councilmember Elrod.
So I too walked into this with some conflict, but 2 key points. One is looking at it as a legal service. That was a key differentiator for me, because I do, point 2, believe this language was incorporated when we had a dedicated city attorney who was salaried staff, and again, not part of a service. Now, where the conflict lied was talking to individuals who, in their day-to-day lives, have requirements for their day job to do some type of, it's not the version of an oath, but some type of paperwork that binds them to their job. So there's this perception that everybody who participates in an organization or works for said organization would have some form of, I don't know, some binding document. But in this case, to Councilmember Hendren's point, this is a service, and it's hard to imagine what process you would undertake to make a service take an oath. So with that, I've become more comfortable with saying that, yes, the perception out there is, hey, I in my day-to-day life am required to do something. Why is this person not held to the standard? Well, it's because we are contracting with the service and not looking at it as a one individual serving the city.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Likewise, I came here with 2 minds of this. We effectively have, the council effectively has like 1.5 employees, right? The city managers are direct hire, and then we approve the contracts and things for the city attorney. I was wrestling a little bit with the notion of like having our lead attorney take the oath on behalf of the organization. I'm sure there's precedents. At the end of the day, when a company makes a decision to do something, somebody has to sign it, right? It can't be a deadlock. So there is a process to do that, rather than having to deal with all the 37 or whatever it is. So I think there's probably a way to navigate that if that was the direction that we wanted to go. But as I've thought more about this, read the materials, looked at both the 8.2 and the 8.8, I got to thinking about, back to the service thing, right? Because our engineering firms, right, they provide a service. Do we ask them to take an oath? The instructors at the Parks and Rec building, do we ask them to take the oath, or they sign a contract and provide a service? Given that this is a service, they have other clients as well, I'm leaning towards supporting the motion as it stands as well. It's a tricky one, but I'm glad that whoever at the time when they came up with the charter gave us this opportunity to have this conversation so we can make it clear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any public comment on this agenda item? Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Yeah,
Councilmember Hennan.
I had a follow-up to Councilmember Elrod's point, that some people have a document. We do have that document. It's the contract that we have with
True.
the attorneys. So
Yeah.
we're covered along that axis as well.
Yeah, and you understood that it was conceptually different,
Yes.
but what you were saying, and to go along with Councilmember Baker, it is a procurement document. This was an RFP. We have signed off on an RFP. We have procured service from an organization with review.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you. Public comment.
All right, hang on, let me, okay, tell me when you're ready.
All right, Josh Hunter, Berkley. I agree that, as was said by everyone, that only individuals can hold office. Firms can't hold office. But the city charter has a mandated city attorney officer, and and that's mandated to be filled, otherwise the office is vacant. The lawyer's oath is a professional licensing oath. It governs attorney conduct, but has nothing to do with assuming public office. The charter requires an oath to be taken upon assuming municipal office, and the licensing oath does not satisfy that. Under the charter, a council doesn't have any discretion to waive the oath of office for administrative officers. That discretion only applies to positions that are not officers. The charter is explicit. All administrative officers must take an oath of office before entering upon their duties. Then there's also the Constitution, Michigan Constitution, Article 11, Section 1, which independently requires the same oath for all legislative, executive, and judicial officers, and expressly prohibits substituting any other oath. It states, all officers, legislative, executive, and judicial, upon entering upon the duties of the respective offices shall take and subscribe the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of blank, according to the best of my ability. No other oath, affirmation, or religious test shall be required as a qualification for any office or public trust. The city manager's memo doesn't acknowledge this constitutional requirement. Because the city attorney is an administrative officer, which is an executive under the charter, the constitutional oath is mandatory. Now, you can have a city attorney and have a firm of other lawyers, but only the city attorney has the authority that's granted by the charter to help with. The other attorneys can help with the workload, but you have one city attorney. This also raises the question of what was the oath ever taken? It sounds like it hasn't. The memo omits the second part of Charter Section 8.2, which states if an officer does not take the oath within 10 days of appointment, the officer is deemed to have declined the office, and the office becomes vacant unless council extends the time by resolution. So that time that language is binding, and neither the charter nor the Constitution gives council the authority to waive or nullify the oath requirement. So I think these questions need to be answered, particularly the constitutional requirement. That hasn't been discussed yet. And has the city attorney taken and filed the required oath? And if not, how is the city interpreting the vacancy clause that's within the charter? Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from council? Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Baker,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. The agenda item has passed. Communications, Ms. Mitchell, who will go first?
Councilmember Elrod.
Okay.
All right. Since last time I was not prepared and had to make amends to all my committees, let me quickly get this out of the way, is that the Environmental Advisory Committee did meet this month. And the key takeaway from that, which will be published and was part of I think the larger report, will be the goals for 2026. And I want to just highlight that it falls into 4 key categories. So for the new members we just admitted to the committee, we brought 2 on for 2 vacancies, is that continued focus around green infrastructure, recycling, transportation, and energy efficiency. Now, this means feet on the ground type of solutions, but also providing advisory opinions to council and other departments based on ongoing projects and where we can make improvements in terms of adopting green infrastructure or looking at energy reduction. There's a number of items that the group is considering, but this was effectively our kickoff. The next meeting will be Tuesday, February 17th, 6:30 at Public Safety. That'll be quickly followed up by Beautification Advisory Committee's first meeting of the year. That will be February 25th. That is a Wednesday, and that is in Public Safety as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Hennan.
Very short tonight. The tree board is meeting right now, so I don't know what they did tonight. We'll report that next time. And the planning commission meeting for this month was canceled, so we'll find out in February.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. Historical met on Tuesday, January 13th, and I would like to also welcome the new members that were appointed Jim and Kevin, we look forward to your additional, your energy, your new thoughts and efforts and cool things to help continue to capture our city's history and share that with all so we can all learn and enjoy and love it. Thank you to the City of Berkeley and folks far beyond for helping us sell more than 350 holiday ornaments. So obviously within the city, folks would come into the museum and say, I'd like 7, please, and then they mail them all over the country, and we were getting orders from people out in other states, saying, hey, I grew up in Berkeley, I want one of these things. So it's an absolutely fantastic operation. The committee is ramping up work on a history-filled lecture series, and they're also preparing updated marketing materials, brochures, and bookmarks and stuff like that as part of the New Year's plan. And for more information on our city's history, you too can visit berkeleyhistory.com. Also, our Downtown Development Authority, DDA, met the very next day, Wednesday, January 14th. They discussed some upcoming statewide changes to the TIF funding rules. Now, we revisited our TIF 5 years ago or so it's a 20-year thing, so it's in our 15-year window, so we have a lot of time to think about it. There's some other options that we could explore, but I'm really happy that the committee is looking at this now, and the board, and they're looking at that as part of the budget process, so they too have a budget to submit. And they recognize that repair work on Coolidge, you may have noticed, it's getting a little tender out there on the old shocks and struts, and some placemaking opportunities as well. And they're reaching out and partnering with Oakland County to help with some capital project funding ideas. For more information on the DDA upcoming updates, you can visit downtownberkeley.com. Finally, it was Benjamin Franklin who once said, "For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned." And I know you all know that January is National Get Organized Month. And if you didn't know, now you do. It is Get Organized Month. Getting organized, at least for me, helps bring a sense of calm and reduces that everyday background stress. It's like, okay, I got this figured out, right? It helps us reclaim time for the things that we care about most, family and hobbies and rest and all that good stuff. And when you clear out clutter, you could either, it helps you save time, helps you save money. You could sell it, get rid of it, feel better about it, and make a new space for new ideas to take root and take your lives in new directions. So with that, obviously it's winter time out there. Stay warm, don't slip on the ice, and hug someone you love, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. I guess I'll keep mine short too. The Parks and Rec met. I'm still getting used to Planning Commission, and so I have that that they were canceled. But Parks and Rec did meet, so that was good. We talked about the master plan, and we had some visitors there. So I strongly encourage citizens or not to come out to all of our boards and commissions to meet the people, have your voice heard. And they'll meet again in February on the 12th. So my notes are all over. The 12th. The ZBA will no cases yet for February. And thank you all while I transition to my new role of timekeeper. I will be giving that back to Pro Tem Gavin as soon as he gets back. So he will definitely enjoy that when he watches this from home. And I've just been thinking a lot about Councilmember Black, so we had a little discussion about him earlier. I just hope he's safe. I hope he's well, and that we're all thinking of him as a community and as us as council. So with that, that's all I got.
Thank you. Ms. Van Vleck.
I really just want to thank, all of our staff. I hope that resonated earlier, but our Department of Public Works has been working incredibly hard. We've had a challenging winter. There are salt supply issues on top of everything else. They were out all night last night, and this is not the first, as we all know, it's not the first winter event. And we've had some challenging scenarios with snow on top of snow on top of snow that just doesn't stop, and then very cold weather. So we run lean, and they've been out there working very hard. So if you see them, please don't hesitate to thank them. Are you going to talk about Citizens Academy?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yes.
I mean,
I will leave that to the mayor, but
you'll probably have a more robust communication about it.
I just really wanted to give a shout out really to public safety for bringing the Citizens Academy back, and I'm sure the mayor will talk about us being there, and it's just an incredible opportunity for them to connect And so, good job. Kudos to you guys. And then also just make sure everyone knows Winterfest is February 7th from 7 to 12 at the community center.
12 to 2.
Hopefully, what did I say? 70. February 7th from 12 to 2.
Do you want to my notes?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
It's on the 12th.
February 7th, 12 to 2. And hopefully the weather isn't too bad.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So first, I want to mention that Mayor Pro Tem Gavin regrets that he couldn't be here. He had a pipe burst in his house this afternoon. So we feel for you, Ross. I, too, wanted to acknowledge DPW. And just given the weather that we're having, it makes their job that much more complicated and difficult. But again, they continue to keep at it. So kudos to them. Citizens Academy through our public safety has returned, and City Manager Van Vleck and I were there at the first night, and thank you for having us. It was, the last time they did, I think, was 2018. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not more recently.
Well, it might have been. I could be. It was pre-COVID. So, so they had the first cohort come through, and it was just really exciting to see another group of residents embracing this opportunity to truly learn what our public safety does firsthand. I mean, because they're going to be out there doing things. I mean, obviously, like safely, but to really see the inner workings and the goings on is an incredible opportunity. So I appreciate the effort and the time and energy, because you guys are all there, and it's outside of your normal scope of work. So thank you for that as well. And I look forward to hearing from this cohort at the very end. And just, you come the first night, everyone's kind of, and then the last night, they're all best friends, and they've been through some incredible experiences. So congratulations to Deputy Clerk Rachel Patterson for celebrating her 3rd year with the City of Berkeley. I, too, wanted to acknowledge Congresswoman Haley Stevens in her work with an abundance of gratitude to secure over $1 million of funding for the City of Berkeley to be put toward our lead lines. No one would argue clean water, but this is definitely a challenging unfunded mandate. So I appreciate Congresswoman Stevens remembering us and making us a priority. It's we're not at the finish line yet. It's got to, go through the final thing. But the fact that she has the needs of our community as a priority I am very grateful for. My last Meet Your Mayor was at Republica last Wednesday evening, and I didn't know this. Well, I had a great time. And then I also learned that on Wednesdays, it's ladies' night, half-off bottles of wine and some other specials. They had a great crowd, and I always, again, great conversations, talking with people that not only live in Berkeley, but who visit Berkeley, and just hearing all the great things that people have to say about Berkeley. I am also open to their concerns and potential challenges, and I always ask, what can we do better? So it was a very fun night. My next stop on the Mayor's Roadshow is Casa Amato on Wednesday, February 25th from 5 to 7 p.m. I don't know about their Wednesday specials, but I know that it will be good eats and a good time, and I hope to see you there. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Councilmember
Second.
Patterson and seconded by Councilmember Elrod. Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Hennon,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. The Monday, January 26th, 2026 meeting of the Berkeley City Council is adjourned.
Thank you.